back to Casually Crafted. My name is Ashley and this is Crafty Chat number 44. So I have quite a bit to show you guys actually. I thought it was going to be hopefully a quick video, and then I keep remembering things that I've been working on. So I wanted to start with a few acquisitions. So I know one of my last videos was just all acquisitions. So you're like, who needs more yarn after all that? But the yarn I ordered, actually I had ordered that same morning that I bought all that stuff off of Facebook. So it was the Lion brand was doing some of their yarns that were 5 for $10, so basically $2 each, plus like $6 shipping, but still it was a pretty good deal. So I got 5 of the mandala watercolors, and it's a bulky 5, and this one is the, what are the colors? Quarry color, just a nice neutral gray. So I got 5 of those, probably to make hats with, and there's 164 yards, and it's 75% acrylic, 15% wool, and 10% nylon. So yeah, so 5 of those, and then for my next set of 5, I got 3 of the pink color, which is called, let's see if I can find it, Tea Berry. There's 3 of those. And then they also had these Summer Nights. So I got those 2 to equal 5 with those. And I have some of this already, and I use it to make snowflakes. I'm going to make some snowflakes for Christmas ornaments. My mom wants me to make her some, and then I'll make more just for fun and to sell or whatever. So it says Summer Nights, but I think that makes fun snowflakes with the glitter and the blues and stuff. Yeah, so that was going to be my only acquisitions I was planning on showing you today. Sorry. But let's see. So my husband ordered me a sweater at a local place, I guess, here in town. And so this is my favorite color, it's teal. And the front has a little yarn ball with crochet hook. And in the back, he put my logo on it. So I thought that was pretty fun. I haven't worn it yet. He says it probably needs to be washed because it's really fuzzy on the inside. So I'd probably turn blue if I wore it right now. But that was a fun surprise that he got for me. And then, so his brother needed to go to Iowa, where their mom and their grandma live, to drop some stuff off with their mom. And then his grandma is trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. And so he brought back a ton of stuff for us. And that was just today. So I just went through everything that I could. Some of it's more just for my husband. But she sent me a ton of yarn and crochet thread type stuff. Sorry if you can hear my baby crying. She's supposed to be asleep, but she keeps waking up and then going back to sleep. So this first bag is mostly the crochet thread, and there's also a bag of hooks in there that I haven't had a chance to go through yet. Looks like a few knitting needles too, but that's okay. And I do use, if you're new, I do use the crochet thread to make necklaces. I honestly haven't made any in a really long time, but that's what I use it for mostly. And then the thicker thread, like the size 3, I make like you can make like bookmarks with, and I like to make the chapstick keychain holders out of the size 3, a little bit thicker thread. So yeah, so it'll get used at some point. I just don't know where I'm gonna put it. And this is not all. So hold on. So then the next bag, this is mostly cotton. Looks like there's some started things in there. And then a little bit of crochet thread also. Can't see anything on this side because it's covered. So then there's that one. And guess what's in this bag? That's almost all crochet thread. Like, put one thing of cotton in there. And there's also 2 more hooks, an I and a J from Boy. And then there's this bag. That's all crochet thread too. And then a box that actually says crochet thread. Guess what's in it? A whole bunch of these, all the same color. Yeah. So that's fun. I have no idea where I'm going to put it all because the drawer I have in this closet behind me for my crochet thread is already full. So I guess I need to start using it more. I don't know. So I am grateful for it. She also sent some tulle that she's used to make scrubbies with, and there was like 2 finished scrubbies in it. Which I've never actually made the scrubbies with the tulle. I usually make the scrubbies with the Hobby Lobby scrubby yarn. But maybe I can try one day. Yeah, so that'll be fun to try to fit in my stuff. Maybe I'll have to make another box of like duplicate colors so that it's not too overwhelming. So then let's do finished objects, I guess. So some of these are like kind of finished, but I'm still working on them. The first one I'll show you was technically sewing, I guess you could call it. So I participated in the Secondhand September make along that Judy from Witch Piece Craft was doing. And I have had this idea. Well, it's not an original idea. I've seen this idea and I've wanted to do it for a few years. So I have Christmas stockings for my family that I made probably when my oldest daughter was like 2 and she's 9 now. And I'm not great at sewing, and so when I made them, they look okay, but the seam allowances were too big, and so the inside of the stocking is actually really skinny, so you can't fit a whole lot in there, and it's bugged me for that many years. And so I've seen this idea of taking thrifted sweaters that have cool like cable-y patterns and stuff on them and making them into stockings. So I've recently been, well, we go to thrift stores. I went to a bunch this last month to look for Halloween costume pieces. So in the process, I was looking for sweaters that I would like to make stockings out of. So for me, I like the traditional like red, white, and green colors for Christmas, but more not like the bright colors. I like them to be like the dark red and the dark green and like maybe cream. I made a tree skirt a few years ago that's more of a cream color. So I did buy 2 that were just like red sweaters in case I couldn't find other ones that worked. So this first stocking I made, I only made one so far. I made with one of the red ones in case it didn't work out, and then I didn't ruin the other sweaters that I have that I actually do want to use. So I'll show you what I made. So it's kind of brighter, or it's not as bright as it's showing on camera, but I decided I don't like the shape of this stocking. I think I have some stockings with our Christmas decorations that we don't use that I think I like the shape of better, more like straight up and down instead of how this curves out. And then I want this part to be a little more rounded, I guess you could say. I mean, so this isn't bad, but I am glad I used the ones I don't want to keep. And I thought about folding this part over to make a little cuff, but then I have my like yucky looking seam there, so I don't know how I would do that and make it look good, because like I said, I don't sew actually that much. So somebody who actually knows how to sew might know the best way to do that. But So that is my practice stocking, I guess you could say. So there's 5 of us in our family, so I am still looking for like a green that I like. I haven't found any like foresty dark greens. I've mostly been finding like olive green or like teal, which I love teal, but I don't want that for Christmas at this point. So my other sweaters, just to show you real quick, I have 2 cream ones. So that one, it's kind of plain on the back. And then I thought about using the sleeves to make like pumpkins or Christmas ornaments or whatever, you know, to just not waste it. And then the other cream one, it's kind of got these weird dots on it and apparently a big black string. So I don't love that one. So if I found a different one to replace that, I could, or we could just have the back be the main front part, since the back's not too bad. Then I did find a dark red. Where's the top? Okay. So that one's not, I mean, as cable-y, but it's still nice. And then I have kind of a brownish. This one's kind of fun because the cables go the other direction, side to side, instead of up and down. Yeah, so I don't really want to, and then I have one more red one. I didn't bring that over, but I don't really want to cut all those up and sew them until I have all 5 colors that I want, if that makes sense. So I make sure they look nice together. Yeah, so that's my one sewing thing that I did. Next, so I just wrote stuff randomly down, so they're in no particular order. I guess I made some beanies. It has been a little while. I made a few beanies like for like a week, and then I stopped to work on Halloween towel toppers. So I used a few different patterns. I was mostly working with bulky yarn at this point. Let's see, I'm trying to organize my stuff over here. So these first ones, and I don't have any ends woven in because I've been lazy. These first ones are called the Misty Beanie by Rich Textures Crochet, and they all come out different sizes. Like, I've put them on my head, I've put them on my kid's head. Even though I pretty much followed the pattern the same way. The one in the back here is a tiny bit bigger, I think, than the one in the front. And this is Scarfy yarn, the teal and cream, I think, is the color. Well, she has a pom-pom on hers. I probably won't put a pom-pom on mine. And then that same pattern in the Scarfy Forest and Black is here. And somewhere I have written down, I think I might have one more row to finish on that one actually. Somewhere I might have written down like what hook size, because I was playing around with the hook sizes and everything, so that's part of why they're different sizes. But I think, yeah. Anyway, so that's the Misty Beanie. And then I wasn't sure honestly how. I tried it in this color because I want like gender neutral-ish patterns. Like this one to me is more girl because of the colors, but I don't feel like that's too girly, unless you guys want to tell me I'm wrong. I don't feel like this is too girly if you don't use girly colors. But then, so I wanted something a little more simple, and I came across this, I don't remember whose pattern it is, but I think it's called the Dreamweaver beanie. And so it's basically the moss stitch, and I think I made this hat once when I was first learning how to crochet, so it was just like in my Pinterest. So I made that in the teal one. So I got 3 hats, 2 Misty beanies and one of these, with 1 skein of Scarfy. And then I also made one with the blackened forest again. This one I added like a half double crochet camel stitch like in the third loop, just because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it just kind of ended on this one. I felt like it needed some sort of like brim or edging. That's what I did on that, but I don't know if I like it. And then the one more I made with this, it is the Loops and Threads Eco Cozy Watercolors, which says it's a 6. So it did come out a little stiffer and bigger. So that's all the, I think it's called the Dreamweaver. So then I didn't love, okay, so I love the moss stitch, but I didn't love how this pattern, you like increase, all your increases are regular single crochet, and then you start the moss stitch or the linen stitch or whatever you want to call it. And then, so on some of the beanies, this one's pretty, I don't know if you can really see it in the video as well, but to me, I could tell, you know, where the regular single crochet stopped and then the other part started, and I didn't love that. But then I was trying to follow people's patterns where they didn't, like I think even Crystal at Bag O' Day has a moss stitch beanie that you're basically doing moss stitch the whole time and increasing, but I don't know what was going on in my head at the time, but I just couldn't get it figured out. So I just stuck with those. But then I was kind of playing around trying to make up my own pattern. And so this one was one I made up. So at the top there, I did rows of like half double crochets in the back loop and then single crochets in the third loop of the half double crochets, kind of like the pumpkins that I did. And then this section is moss stitch. Then I went back to the half double crochet and single crochet, and I don't remember if it fit on my head. Like the way I increased weird with the two different stitches, it like makes a weird cone on the top unless you pull it down really tight. So I wasn't sure if I really like it and want to like keep messing with it and perfecting the pattern, or just keep using other people's patterns. So then I tried it in that Loops and Threads. Sorry, that made my hair all. Whew. I tried it again in that Loops and Threads one. But you can see how it's almost like a cone at the top. I don't know if you can really see that. But trying to figure out how, like there's charts online where you like measure how big your circle is to get a certain size before you stop increasing and then just make the size of the hat. And I thought I did that correctly on this, but I feel like maybe with just the way that I'm changing stitches and increasing, it was not an adult size. Like I could barely get it on my head. It's still connected to this game. I didn't. So I don't know if that was to be considered an adult size beanie or not, because it's really tight, and I haven't had my kids try this one on. But then this one I did a crab stitch border at the bottom. So, but it's the same pattern as this one, with it's just a different yarn. So I don't know what my plan is with that. I don't know. If I'm gonna continue playing with that pattern or just do other people's. But then I was kind of sick of making hats, even though I didn't make very many. But I do want to make some out of like 4-weight yarns. I have some patterns that I want to try, but since I decided to not do any craft fairs this fall, I think that made my motivation go down a little bit, because I knew I wouldn't have time to make enough for those. So yeah, so that's my beanies. Next I have on my list is I made another random pumpkin, and this one just was kind of for fun. The pattern is by, I think it's by Five Little Monsters, and it's the block stitch pumpkin, and I used up just some leftover, it's a Joann's yarn. It's one of their, oh, my phone's gonna die. I can't remember what I was gonna say. So I didn't have enough to make it as many rows as she called for, so it's a little bit flatter than her pattern. But I think it turned out cute, and since it's just for me, I decided to not crochet the stem, and I just stuck a cinnamon stick in there. So that's the pumpkin, and I'll link all the patterns down below. I don't remember why I felt like I wanted to make it. I just thought it was cute, and I almost made like a whole nother set of the pumpkins that I had been making, like the small, medium, and large. But I decided not to do that. And then Lynette from Charmed Grammy Crochet showed the calendar project for this month. It's like a pumpkin basket. And I have seen some patterns for pumpkin baskets out there, so I decided to try one. This one is technically supposed to be like to put a flower pot in, like to have the succulents in a pot. So here's what I made, and I didn't weave in my ends on the inside. But I made some adjustments to her pattern. I'll show you the yarn I used real quick. I used the homespun and this tweed stripes, both by Lion Brand, and they're both called Wildfire. So I held those two together, and I adjusted her pattern a little bit. So basically you make like a cup, so you make a circle and then you go straight up to make a cup, and then you turn your work and do front post double crochets to take you back down to the bottom of the cup, and then you kind of stuff it when you sew it together. So I did one extra increase on the bottom, and then I think I did 2 extra rows higher because I didn't like how small it was. And so then as you're doing the decreases, because you do decrease down at the bottom like 1 row, I think I did 2 rows to decrease to get it back down to the size of this. And then there was like 4 double crochet front posts instead of 3 like her pattern, so I had to do a little bit of fudging of the math to get it right, but I think it turned out okay. And then at the end, I wanted the stuffing to be more in these like little ridge areas, and so I took some yarn and just kind of sewed simple stitches down in between the ridge areas where you just have normal double crochets in between, just to give it a little bit more defined look. Yeah, I like how it turned out. I want to maybe, if Home Depot or anything actually still is selling any plants, find a little pot to put in there, some succulents or something, or it can just go on a table, and I don't know what else you actually want to put in there, but I liked how it turned out. I wasn't sure with the colors as I was going. It's like, do I like it? Do I not like it? I don't know, but I think I like it. I think I've decided I like it. I'm gonna take a break real quick because my phone's gonna die, and so I'm gonna charge it, and then I will hop back on and talk to you guys some more. So just a minute. Okay, I'm going to attempt to record while this is plugged in because I don't want to be up all night. So the next thing I have is I started working on some snowflakes the other day, and I don't know if you guys have ever looked, but there's about 1,000,001 snowflake patterns out there, and some are really similar, some are really complicated, some are not as complicated, but anyway, so I kind of want to just narrow down to just a few patterns that I want to use so that I'm not like doing a million. So I grabbed some Karen Simply Soft Party, so the sparkly, I don't know if you can see the sparkles in that, and then some size 3 crochet thread. Oops. I have like yarn ends everywhere. And then the Summer Nights that I talked about earlier. So I grabbed those 3 to start working on different patterns, because some are like designed for thread, and then if you make them in normal yarn, they're like huge. Other ones are designed for like 4-weight yarns, and then they'd be super tiny if you use the thread. So I just kind of wanted, like, I might make some patterns in the thread and some in the 4-weights, and then whatever. So I was just playing around with different patterns. I'll try to post all these patterns that I've used. I've been taking pictures of them to keep track of which, because I made some last year and I don't remember which patterns I used, which is annoying. And these all still will need blocking and like stiffening if I'm going to, but most of them probably will need to be done. So if I can, like, for example, a few of these I've done in all 3 yarns. I think just 2. Because some of them it's obvious that it won't work in another type of yarn. So this first one, I don't know if you'll, is like that size, not too bad, like my hand size. So it's one of the bigger ones if you use 4-weight yarn. And Caron Simply Soft is a thinner 4-weight, so yeah. But then that same pattern in the size 3 thread, so you can see the size difference. And then that same pattern in the Summer Nights. The Summer Nights is smaller than the 3-weight. I don't know if it's quite as small as like a number 10 crochet thread. I haven't compared. So that's quite a difference in the 3 sizes. Like that. So that's one of the patterns that I did. The other pattern that I did, all 3, is that's the back. Sorry, it's kind of hard to show the white too. What's this? So there's this first one, and this one definitely needs some blocking. Like the ends are supposed to be a little more pointy. And then there it is in the size 3, and then in the Summer Nights. So those are the only ones that I did all 3 of. And then a few more of the just 4-weights. Because one day I mostly just did, I've just done these the past few days. So the first day I just did the Caron Simply Soft ones. Because there's some patterns like I start and I'm like, wow, this is really annoying. I don't want to make a million of these because it's just not fun, or like good. Like if you can't do it fast enough, it's gonna be just a pain in the butt. So then there were some that I just stopped and went on to the next pattern. So one day I did all the 4-weights, and then the next day I did those 2 in the Summer Nights, and then the 2 in the thread. So here's one of the other. I like this one. I don't know why. It's kind of hard to see. And then this one. Sorry, I have hair on everything. Goodness. Kind of basic, but still nice. And then this one. That one's a little bit smaller. So yeah, some of these, like if it's this small with the 4-weight, I don't know if I'd be willing to go to make that with this, because how much smaller is that going to be? I want to say last year there's a Creative Grandma like dishcloth that she did that was a snowflake, or like coaster type thing, but I'm pretty sure it was a dishcloth. So I think I did one of those with the Summer Nights. I might try that again, because a dishcloth is big if you use 4-weight, but then it would shrink down to a decent size with the smaller weight yarn. Okay, so next thing on my list is my daughter's birthday present. She's going to be 2 just before Thanksgiving. And I talked about this pattern a little bit. It's a tutorial, And the person has like weird abbreviations for their things. Like a V means like an X means single crochet, and then a V means increase, and then an A means decrease. So you can, like, as you're doing it, you can kind of, it kind of makes sense, kind of. And then she's left-handed, and so starting this pattern, like, I wrote down the whole thing, kind of, um, for the head and then the body. I'm making a puppy, a little dog, in case I didn't mention that. Um, so, where is the other piece? Yeah, so far I have done the head and the body. And I decided, so her puppy is like, the part of the front of the face is white, and then like the paws have white at the bottom. And then the other colors are like a yellow and a blue and an orange or something. And she just like every 2 rows just changes through those. So I decided to make this kind of a scrappy project. So I have this basket here of, some of them fell out in the bag. I think I got most of them. Of just colors I thought would look good together. So there's like 3 pinks, 2 purples, 2 yellows, 2 greens, and an orange. I think that's all I have in there. I have a picture. There's some fuzz in there too, some stuffing. And so at first I did the head, and the whitish color, I don't know what color I used. It's like an off-white. So this is going to be the head. I think I'll have like a little nose and eyes somewhere. I need to look at the picture again. So yeah, so I just changed color every 2 rows. And then this is the body. So this will be where his head connects somehow. There's like back loop only right there, so I'm guessing it'll connect there. And then he'll have 4 legs and a tail and 2 floppy ears. So those will go on somehow. And yeah, so I didn't actually plan on starting this project. I think I was like in between things, and I was like, well, why don't I just sit down and write out the pattern real quick so that I can, you know, when I'm ready to start it, I can start it. And then I apparently just started it. So I don't know, my kids were watching a Halloween movie the other night, and so I just sat with them and did that. So that's the puppy. He's definitely more of a whip. Sorry, I'm not really going in like finished objects to then whips or whatever. The next thing on my list is I finished this diamond art that I've been working on for over a year. It is a nativity scene. So my grandma collects nativities, and I always give her some sort of nativity themed thing for Christmas. I was gonna have this done for her last year, but I knew I wouldn't get it done, and so I think I just gave her a towel top, like with a topper on it that was nativity. So I finally got this done, at least the diamond parts, so I need to glaze it and then frame it. It's a really weird shape, like you can't just buy a frame like that, and I'm too cheap to do custom framing because I don't need glass on the front anyway, because then you can't see the shininess as much. So I think I'm going to attempt to make my own frame out of like trim that you can buy from Home Depot and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But I do need to start working on that. I'm gonna go to Home Depot this week to see if I can find stuff to do so that I can get it to her before Christmas. And then this next guy is a whip, making a little snowman. He's got ends all over, and his arms are crooked, but whatever. This pattern, I don't remember who it's by, but I'll link it. I started it in the Karen Simply Soft party yarn, but like this is its body that I started. I didn't pull it out yet, and I was like, holy crap, that is a lot. It's not even, you can't even see it, but you can see how small it is, right? That's my point, is I did not want it this small. If this was its body and then it said it was like, now we're gonna start the head, and I was thinking this was gonna be the head and then maybe the body was gonna be a little bit bigger. And I was like, okay, we gotta do something else. So this guy, he's made with Bernat baby velvet, which I was kind of saving to make a baby blanket with because I have like a teal and like a light aqua-y color that go with the white. Hopefully I didn't use too much of it, so I can still do that someday. But technically the head and the body are the same size, like the same number of stitches around. I think maybe this one goes up further. I didn't count. I don't know. But yeah, I like his size a little bit better than this teeny tiny. And the pattern has you do, it has a hat that goes with it, like a beanie. So I just started that last night. And then he's also supposed to have colors on the ends to be like mittens. But what I want to try to do is make little circle mittens that can go over the ends and make a few different hats and mitten sets so it can be changed out for, so like you can have a Christmassy themed snowman, but then after Christmas you could change his hat back to whatever color and just have it out for winter, right? So sometimes people need winter decorations that aren't Christmas, but he could still be Christmas too. So that's my plan for him. So his body is done. He just needs his hats and mittens. So that's Snowman. And is that everything? I thought I had one more thing, but that looks like everything on my list. Yeah. I guess that's it. Sorry. I mean, that's still a lot. I've just been kind of all over the place with random things. I don't know why I didn't show you guys the beanies last time. I think I had them done, but I don't know, because they've been done for a little while. Yeah, so thanks for sitting here listening to my jabber on the random stuff. I feel kind of weird doing like pumpkins and then snowflakes at the same time, but I do want to decide what snowflakes I want to make, if I'm going to maybe sell any sets of snowflakes, and then my mom wants some too. So yeah, I guess it's just that weird time of year for crafters who need to get Christmas things done when it's not even Christmas time. So yeah, I think I'm done making pumpkins, so I'm gonna put some of that yarn away that I was working on that I still had out. I do have Thanksgiving towels that I want to make, so I still have a bunch of all the orangey yarns out still, but yeah, and then I also want to make, so last year I bought a whole bunch of like plastic ornaments that are just the blank ones that you can put stuff in or decorate or whatever. I want to make some covers for those too. And so I have all this like Christmassy yarn that I have in a pile here. Like, I love this metallic from, I almost called it Home Depot, from Hobby Lobby. I have some of this Bernat Handicrafter. And so, and I even have some crochet thread in Christmas colors, but I don't want to cover a whole ornament with that. I didn't know if it'd be weird to make snowflakes out of Christmas colors, or if that would be, yeah, I don't know if that's weird. Do you think that's weird? Or just stick with like whites and blues and silver and stuff like that. Like, I have this random blue that I thought I could make fun snowflakes too. I don't know. I'm just all over the place. I have like piles of stuff everywhere. And now I'm just blabbing. So I am going to let you guys go. I probably won't edit this video till nap time tomorrow because I need to get to bed. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.